Loyalty is earned, not demanded. Every relationship you hold is a battlefield, and every interaction a skirmish where the stakes are your influence and authority. The throne of allegiance is never freely given. It is claimed through vigilance, consistency, and awareness. Allies are not inherently loyal. They observe, they test, and they measure your competence before committing themselves. One lapse in judgment, one moment of distraction, and what seemed like devotion can become quiet opposition. History offers stark lessons. Cesare Borgia, in consolidating his power, understood that even trusted companions could harbor ambitions that threatened the state. Loyalty must be secured before it can be preserved. Treat every social encounter as a war zone. Casual conversations are not idle. They are probes, reconnaissance missions that reveal intentions and character. When someone hesitates, glares, or questions subtly, they are not merely expressing disagreement. They are testing your authority. Respond with calm precision. A subordinate challenges your plan. Acknowledge the point briefly, then reassert your framework with measured clarity. This demonstrates command without aggression, showing that allegiance follows competence and composure, not coercion. Weak. I think you're wrong, but okay. Strong. Your point is noted. This path serves our objective. Complacency is the silent assassin of loyalty. Ordinary errors, missed cues, or casual neglect of social dynamics erode respect over time. Failure to recognize hidden agendas allows rivals to accumulate influence under your nose. Observe consistently. Anticipate subtle shifts in tone, body language, and decisions. Treat them as early warning signals, as the subtle tremors before a larger conflict. Discipline your attention. Track commitments, follow through without exception, and remain present in all interactions. Those who see your reliability, consistency, and foresight will align themselves with your authority naturally. Guard your inner court as fiercely as any outer defense. Thoughts and intentions are the supply lines of your influence. If your strategy wavers internally, your outward presence falters, and loyalty diminishes. Project clarity, maintain composure, and hold your principles visibly. This is the essence of commanding without force. Your steadiness becomes magnetic, drawing allies into voluntary alignment. Even in disagreement, your calm decisiveness transforms potential dissent into reinforcement of your stature. Every action is a signal, every silence a weapon. Observe the reactions of those around you as if reading a map of a battlefield. Small gestures offering acknowledgement, withholding judgment, providing opportunities, become tactical maneuvers that secure allegiance without overt pressure. Control the rhythm of interactions. Let others feel heard, valued, and understood, but always within the framework you have set. This balance is the crucible in which absolute loyalty is forged. Move deliberately, and let no hesitation be visible. The world instinctively follows those who exhibit certainty and measured dominance. Build trust through reliability, demonstrate strength through calm presence, and eliminate ambiguity from your intentions. Loyalty will follow the leader who embodies both competence and restraint, not through manipulation, but by the consistent projection of authority. Command your circle with precision. Treat each engagement as a test of strategy, and maintain an unshakable mind. Let allies see you as the steady center around which their decisions revolve. In every interaction, remember that the throne of allegiance is won by mastery over yourself and clarity of purpose. Stand firm, observe wisely, and act deliberately. Secure your loyalty, command your kingdom. Your mind is the throne from which all influence flows. Before you command others, you must first command yourself. Every thought is a soldier under your direct command. Left unchecked, doubts and impulses stage mutinies that erode authority. Discipline your mental soldiers, Assign them clear missions and enforce boundaries on wandering ideas. When fear or hesitation arises, address it immediately. Recognize the internal challenges and neutralize them through deliberate reflection and structured routines. Guard against subversion in the form of reactive thinking. Impulsive reactions signal vulnerability and invite disloyalty. Observe your patterns of thought with precision. Identify recurring doubts and replace them with clarity and deliberate intent. Projecting power begins within. Your posture, tone and choice of words broadcast your command to those around you. Speak with clarity and finality. A pause after a statement often communicates more authority than repetition. Move deliberately. Hesitation diminishes perceived competence. When disagreements arise, respond with measured calm. For instance, if a colleague questions a method, acknowledge their perspective briefly, then reaffirm your decision with concise reasoning. This demonstrates control and inspires alignment without coercion. Weak, I suppose that could work, but maybe. Strong, your point is noted. This approach ensures consistent results. Treat your thoughts as territory to defend and cultivate. Train mental resilience through daily rituals that reinforce focus, awareness, and composure. Meditate on decisions before acting. Anticipate challenges to your authority and rehearse responses internally. The throne is not secured by raw talent alone. It is maintained through disciplined practice and visible consistency. Allies and observers instinctively follow those whose minds exhibit calm mastery. Subordinates mirror steadiness and confidence, aligning their loyalty naturally. Avoid reactive judgments or emotional impulsivity. These are vulnerabilities that erode influence silently over time. Crown your inner court by taking full responsibility for your mental state. Anticipate the battlefield of decisions before stepping into interactions. Reinforce every position with clarity and foresight. Your mental projection is inseparable from your external influence. Command begins within. Without internal sovereignty, no external loyalty will hold. Establish routines that consolidate mental power, structured reflection, goal-oriented planning, and deliberate observation. These rituals forge a visible and dependable presence. Your mind as the throne becomes a center of gravity that attracts voluntary allegiance. Maintain vigilant self-awareness. Examine every thought for signs of indecision or uncertainty. Neutralize distractions and cultivate focus with precision. Reinforce your mental hierarchy by prioritizing essential actions and suppressing reactive impulses. In every encounter, communicate with intentionality, demonstrating that your authority is steady and rational. Let others witness decisiveness without aggression, consistency without rigidity. Loyalty forms when observers recognize unwavering control paired with discernment and respect. Every interaction is an extension of the throne you occupy. Manage perception carefully. Ensure that your mental sovereignty radiates through subtle yet powerful cues. Confident speech, deliberate movement, and controlled responses. When confronted with a challenge, hold your composure. Allow others to test boundaries, then respond with calculated clarity. Control the rhythm of dialogue. The mind that rules itself effortlessly projects authority outward. Those around you will follow, because alignment becomes the path of least resistance. Commit to mastery over internal dialogue. Measure each thought and action against strategic objectives. Recognize that the subtleties of mental discipline accumulate over time, establishing reputation, reliability, and influence. The inner court that is respected will naturally command loyalty. Subordinates, colleagues, and peers sense the stability of a mind that is both vigilant and composed. Lead with the weight of calm authority. Refuse to concede mental territory through indecision or distraction. Command your inner court relentlessly. Anticipate challenges, project authority, and maintain unwavering composure. Every disciplined thought, every deliberate action reinforces the perception of unshakable mental sovereignty. Authority is cultivated through consistent mastery of the mind, projecting calm competence outward to every interaction. Secure the throne within, and loyalty will follow naturally. Master your mind, command your course. The first light of day is your initial battlefield. Before the world stirs, claim dominion over your own hours. Every morning is a skirmish in which discipline determines victory or defeat. Seize the dawn with intention. Begin by structuring your environment to support clarity, focus, and deliberate action. Make your bed, organize your space, and prepare your mind. These small acts establish immediate control over your territory, signaling to yourself and others that your day is governed by command, not chaos. Those who master the early hours consistently outperform peers who drift with circumstance. Rituals are your armor. Structured mornings create predictable reliability that attracts respect and trust from observers. Begin with activities that reinforce energy and attention. Exercise, focused reflection, strategic planning. Each repeated action strengthens your mental and emotional resilience, providing a shield against the unpredictable assaults of distraction, urgent demands, and competing agendas. Allies and colleagues will instinctively recognize your consistency, aligning themselves with someone whose day begins with precision and purpose. Weak, I'll get to it when I can. Strong, this task is prioritized. It will be completed before all else. Energy is territory. How you allocate it determines influence and signals strength. Guard your focus as a general guards key supply lines. Reserve bursts of high-intensity effort for strategic moments. Use measured attention in interactions to demonstrate presence and competence. When disagreements arise, handle them with calm authority. For instance, if a colleague challenges a project plan, acknowledge their input briefly, then reassert the schedule with concise reasoning. Your energy, managed and projected deliberately, reassures others that your command is stable and reliable. Anticipate the demands of the day, as if mapping the terrain of an enemy stronghold. Prioritize critical actions, eliminate trivial distractions, and maintain a rhythm that enforces control without rigidity. Each choice communicates authority, subtly guiding allies and collaborators to align with your tempo. Early victories in routine create momentum that extends into more complex interactions, establishing you as a figure whose consistency and competence are unquestioned. Treat your morning as a series of tactical deployments. Each activity is a maneuver reinforcing structure, focus, and readiness. Mental clarity achieved through these rituals allows decisive action in later engagements, reducing the chance of missteps that erode influence. Even minor lapses in energy management can ripple through the day, undermining perception and weakening voluntary loyalty. Guard against this by adhering strictly to your established patterns of preparation and engagement. Project calm control from the first waking hour. Let the steadiness of your routine communicate competence before a single word is spoken. Allocate energy strategically, approaching each task with deliberate intent. Your behavior sets the tempo for the day, attracting those who value reliable leadership. By claiming mastery over your morning, you establish a foundation from which influence extends naturally, without force or overt manipulation. Command your dawn as you would a fortified position. Reinforce it with consistent practice, deliberate prioritization, and disciplined energy management. Let every ritual, every measured action signal authority. Observers will instinctively align, drawn to the stability, competence, and reliability you demonstrate. Secure the first victory of each day, and the rest will follow in obedience to your lead. Win the morning, command the day. Stillness is the weapon unseen, the silent predator that commands attention without sound. In a world of constant noise, restraint becomes authority. Pause before acting. Each hesitation is not weakness, but strategy. Silence draws focus, creating anticipation that sharpens perception. Those around you measure intent in moments of quiet. Use the pause to observe, to scan the landscape of motives and intentions. Do not rush. Let others reveal themselves while you maintain composure. Every action taken after careful observation carries weight far beyond its immediate effect. Observation surpasses reaction. Reacting instantly signals vulnerability. It exposes your patterns and invites manipulation. Watch body language, tone, and timing. Note the shifts in allegiance, the subtle hints of dissent or agreement. Internalize what you see, but reveal nothing prematurely. When a colleague questions a decision, acknowledge the concern briefly, then maintain your composed stance. Weak. Maybe you're right, I should reconsider. Strong. Your point is noted. We will proceed as planned. Your restraint exerts influence silently, compelling others to follow without overt direction. Calm under pressure is a psychological lever. When chaos erupts, composure projects authority that attracts loyalty. Your equanimity reassures observers that they are aligned with a steady, capable presence. During meetings, negotiations, or tense discussions, maintain controlled breathing, measured speech, and deliberate gestures. Let your poise become the reference point in turbulent situations. Others will mirror your steadiness, aligning their actions with your measured tempo. This is the essence of silent command, power conveyed through deliberate non-reaction rather than forceful assertion. Master the rhythm of restraint. Each pause, each measured response is a tactical deployment in the theater of influence. Timing matters. Speak after others have exposed their positions. Act when information is fully gathered. Anticipate the consequences of visible impatience or overreaction. By controlling your presence, you control the flow of engagement. Allies and peers perceive competence in those who maintain deliberate pacing, reinforcing voluntary loyalty. Treat stillness as territory to defend and exploit. Guard against impulsivity and verbal overextension. When confronted with competing agendas or subtle challenges, respond with composed clarity, reaffirming priorities without aggression. Subtlety amplifies authority. Use minimal speech to command maximum alignment. The less obvious your strategy, the stronger its effect. In moments of disagreement, maintain calm, assess motives, and act decisively at the optimal moment. Your presence is a force when anchored in restraint. Let silence communicate confidence. Let observation dictate action. Every measured step projects authority that others instinctively respect. By mastering stillness, you become the apex predator in social dynamics. Decisive, composed, and unassailable, influence becomes natural, loyalty voluntary, and command absolute. Stillness commands what force cannot. Loyalty is fragile. Betrayal often arrives quietly before it becomes visible. The first duty of a leader is to recognize disloyalty early. In Machiavelli's Italy, rulers who hesitated to confront traitors lost their states, while those who acted decisively consolidated power and secured obedience. Observe the signals: shifting alliances, subtle undermining, or inconsistent commitments. Do not allow complacency to mask danger. Identify weak links promptly and address them with strategic precision, understanding that hesitation multiplies risk. Swift recognition is a defensive maneuver, protecting both authority and the cohesion of your circle. Not all threats demand direct confrontation. Strategic distance is a tool as powerful as decisive action. Some challenges are neutralized through careful disengagement, limiting exposure without escalating conflict. Preserve your energy and focus for matters that require intervention. If a subordinate consistently undermines projects but cannot be immediately removed, redefine responsibilities to minimize their impact. Allow natural consequences to reinforce boundaries while maintaining your composure. By measuring when to act and when to withdraw, you maintain control and reinforce authority without unnecessary confrontation. Weak. I'll deal with them later. Strong. Responsibilities are realigned to preserve mission integrity. Moral clarity is your weapon. Discipline does not mean cruelty. It requires balancing compassion with resolute decisions. When elimination is necessary, execute it transparently and consistently, demonstrating that the standards apply to all, including yourself. The leader respected for fairness and decisive action inspires loyalty rather than fear alone. If a team member openly challenges a critical directive, acknowledge their perspective briefly, then reaffirm expectations clearly and without hostility. This approach preserves respect, signals competence, and prevents erosion of trust. Treat loyalty as a strategic asset, not a guarantee. Map the dynamics of your team or circle and act preemptively to neutralize instability. Use observation, calculated distancing, and disciplined enforcement of principles to preserve cohesion. When you remove a weak link, communicate the rationale implicitly through consistency, not accusation. Allies understand that alignment is both voluntary and consequential. Your authority strengthens when every action reinforces clarity of expectations and consequences. Maintain constant vigilance. Small lapses invite disruption. Recognize patterns that indicate subtle disloyalty and address them immediately. Use precise interventions to prevent minor challenges from becoming structural threats. Every decisive step reinforces your position as a competent, reliable, and morally clear leader. Observe without overreacting, act without hesitation, and let consistency govern your approach. Command the circle with unyielding clarity. Prioritize observation, act with strategic precision, and maintain moral authority in every decision. The throne of loyalty is defended not only by power, but by careful, calculated actions that protect cohesion and reinforce trust. Remove what threatens stability, engage where necessary, and withdraw strategically when appropriate. Discipline your interventions, and allies will follow not out of fear, but respect. Eliminate weakness, secure allegiance. Authority is not enforced, it is projected. True command comes from perception, not coercion. Project unshakable confidence in every interaction. Confidence is contagious. When you carry yourself with certainty, others instinctively align with your rhythm. Speak with measured tone, move with deliberate precision, and maintain composure in all situations. Hesitation diminishes authority, while steady presence reinforces it. Even subtle gestures, a straight posture, deliberate eye contact, or calm breathing signal control and competence. These are the visible threads of power that inspire voluntary loyalty without force. Subtle symbolism strengthens perception. Every action communicates status silently. Consistency across words and deeds creates a framework that others naturally trust. Repetition of decisive actions reinforces reliability. People follow leaders who demonstrate predictability and competence. When a colleague challenges your plan, respond with measured calm. Acknowledge the point briefly, then reaffirm the chosen course. Weak. I guess that could work, but I'm not sure. Strong. Your input is noted. We proceed as planned. Such subtle reinforcement maintains respect while projecting authority without intimidation. Invisible strings govern influence without coercion. Skillful leaders manipulate the environment, timing and perception so that alignment occurs naturally. You do not demand obedience. You create conditions in which cooperation becomes the easiest choice. Observe reactions, anticipate objections, and guide decisions through strategic presentation. Small cues, tone, cadence, and posture shape behavior more effectively than overt directives. Your presence becomes magnetic, attracting those who value competence and clarity. Influence is maximized when subtlety replaces force and voluntary loyalty outweighs compelled obedience. Treat every interaction as a chessboard. Each move, glance, or word has implications for perception and alignment. Maintain control by projecting unwavering confidence while allowing others to contribute, ensuring they feel heard without compromising your position. Align your gestures, tone, and consistency with your objectives. Authority is most powerful when invisible, experienced through trust, respect, and the perception of competence. Maintain calm dominance. Let your energy convey command without aggression. Your consistent presence establishes a hierarchy that others instinctively respect. By mastering the subtleties of communication and presence, you demonstrate that leadership is not about intimidation, but about reliable, deliberate authority. Allies and observers follow naturally, drawn to a figure whose competence is evident, whose decisions are measured, and whose command is unshakable. Every movement, word, and gesture is part of the mask you wear to project authority. Master this mask, refine it, and ensure that influence flows without coercion. Subtlety, consistency, and calm competence are your tools. Presence alone shapes decisions, reinforces alignment, and secures loyalty. Command without force, influence without pressure, and let your aura guide others toward voluntary allegiance. Project command, inspire loyalty. Action is most powerful when precise, unseen, and perfectly timed. Like a predator stalking its prey, mastery lies in knowing exactly when to strike. Timing is lethal precision. A misstep erodes credibility, while decisive action at the right moment inspires unwavering loyalty. Observe the terrain of human behavior carefully. Note patterns, gauge intentions, and wait for the exact instant when intervention achieves maximum impact. Hasty moves reveal inexperience. Hesitation signals weakness. Execute with clarity, and your influence expands naturally without resistance. Ego is the enemy of strategic action. Personal impulses, pride, or emotional reactions distort judgment and compromise outcomes. Cultivate self-restraint as a disciplined weapon. Let logic and foresight dictate your choices rather than reactive desire. By suppressing ego interference, you act with purpose and preserve trust. Subordinates and allies recognize composure under pressure, and respect grows when decisions appear measured and intentional. Weak, I need to act now or risk losing face. Strong, I act when conditions align for maximum effect. Invisible moves consolidate loyalty without overt control. Maneuver alliances subtly, realigning relationships to strengthen cohesion. Influence flows when adjustments are unnoticed, leaving observers confident in their autonomy, yet aligned with your objectives. Shift responsibility quietly, reward alignment strategically, and redirect energy to reinforce reliability. When a colleague resists a proposed plan, acknowledge their perspective, then implement changes seamlessly that guide them toward the intended outcome. Your hand remains unseen, but the result is alignment and strengthened trust. Treat every interaction as a calculated strike in a larger campaign. Position yourself to act decisively when opportunity arises, ensuring that each intervention enhances authority rather than diminishes it. Anticipate resistance and plan contingencies without broadcasting intent. Each successful maneuver reinforces your reliability, projecting competence and strategic foresight. The circle you command will recognize your discernment, voluntarily supporting initiatives with minimal supervision. Refine patience into power. Observe, calculate, and act with surgical precision. Let others reveal intentions, while you maintain a composed exterior. The most effective strikes appear effortless, executed without warning, yet achieving maximum influence. Build a reputation for measured, decisive action. Voluntary loyalty grows when observers see competence paired with restraint. Command your inner assassin. Integrate timing, ego, discipline, and invisible maneuvering into every decision. Mastery is not measured by constant action, but by the impact of well-chosen decisive moves. Each intervention strengthens trust, fortifies loyalty, and reinforces authority without overt pressure. Strike at the right moment, and allegiance is secured naturally. Act unseen, achieve total influence. Power is drawn to those who satisfy needs before they are spoken. Like a wolf guided by hunger, people instinctively follow the hand that provides sustenance and security. Anticipate desires, ambitions, and anxieties before they manifest. Historical rulers who understood this principle, offering protection, opportunity, or resources preemptively, won unwavering loyalty. Observation and foresight are your weapons. Meet needs with precision to forge voluntary allegiance. Delay or neglect fosters discontent, while timely provision establishes trust and positions you as the indispensable center of influence. Reward loyalty selectively, not blind obedience. Incentives must reinforce alignment with your vision, not perpetuate complacency. Recognize contributions that strengthen cohesion and drive collective goals. When a subordinate demonstrates initiative or aligns with strategy, acknowledge and elevate their effort visibly. Weak. Good job. Carry on. Strong. Your initiative aligns perfectly with our objectives. Take lead on this next challenge. Properly calibrated rewards reinforce the behaviors you value, ensuring that devotion is tied to competence and strategic alignment rather than simple compliance. Controlled dependency secures long-term influence. Skillfully feed ambition to tether allies to your leadership without stifling initiative. Provide resources, opportunities, and guidance in measured quantities to ensure reliance without suffocation. Empower those around you, but maintain structural advantages that make your position central to their success. Allow ambition to flourish under your oversight, creating a network of motivated individuals who perceive freedom while remaining aligned with your strategic objectives. Treat every relationship as a calculated ecosystem. Map needs, anticipate reactions, and deliver support in ways that maximize loyalty. Timing, consistency, and awareness of personal ambitions are key. Subtle cues, deliberate provision of opportunities, and recognition of effort cultivate a sense of indebtedness and voluntary alignment. Observe patterns of engagement and adjust provisions to reinforce constructive behavior. Mismanaged rewards or uneven attention invite envy, eroding cohesion and influence. Master the rhythm of giving and withholding. Allow allies to experience autonomy, but structure benefits to maintain dependence on your guidance. By feeding ambition strategically, you cultivate a devoted network that operates harmoniously yet remains tethered to your leadership. Authority is amplified when support is both empowering and conditional, fostering loyalty that is freely offered yet reliably directed. Nourish needs, reward alignment, and channel ambition with precision. Influence is strongest when it appears natural, voluntary, and mutually beneficial. Guide without coercion, empower without relinquishing control, and maintain your central position in the network of allegiance. Feed wisely, command inevitably. Life is a chessboard, and every interaction, decision, and alliance represents a critical move. Approach each day as a strategic game where foresight dictates influence and loyalty. Plan 3 to 5 moves ahead, predicting reactions from allies and anticipating opposition. Consider the implications of each action, weighing potential benefits against risks. A miscalculated step exposes weaknesses, while thoughtful positioning secures trust and strengthens alliances. Observe patterns, understand motivations, and map relationships as you would pieces on a board, ensuring that each maneuver aligns with your ultimate objectives. Sacrifice for greater gain is a principle of strategic mastery. Yielding minor advantages can build confidence and loyalty, demonstrating discernment rather than weakness. Historical leaders often ceded trivial battles to consolidate influence over larger campaigns. A subordinate resists a proposal. Allow minor concessions to signal fairness, reinforcing commitment without undermining authority. Weak. I must win this argument. Strong. I concede the minor point to achieve broader alignment. These tactical concessions cultivate voluntary cooperation, enhancing allegiance and reinforcing your position as a thoughtful and capable leader. Anticipate counterplay at every stage. Allies may falter, rivals may exploit gaps, and unforeseen variables can disrupt plans. Prepare contingencies and adaptive strategies to address potential threats without panic or overreaction. Analyze intentions, monitor behaviors, and adjust positioning accordingly. When a conflict arises, respond with precision and foresight rather than impulsive reaction. The ability to foresee moves and preempt challenges solidifies respect and establishes you as the central strategist in your network. Treat every conversation, decision, and negotiation as a carefully calculated move. Align short-term actions with long-term objectives, ensuring each step strengthens loyalty and influence. Observe reactions to refine future maneuvers, maintaining control over outcomes while fostering a perception of autonomy among allies. Balance aggression with patience, ensuring that initiatives advance your strategy without provoking unnecessary resistance. Mastering the chessboard of life requires discipline, observation, and calculated risk. Plan meticulously, execute deliberately, and anticipate the repercussions of every choice. By thinking multiple moves ahead, sacrificing strategically, and preparing for counterplay, you transform influence into enduring loyalty. Play with foresight, command without error. Discipline is the forge where loyalty is hardened, and every action, habit, and routine serves as the hammer shaping your authority. Approach each day as a battlefield where consistency determines who follows and who falters. Rituals are proof of commitment, rising before the world, meeting challenges without complaint, and executing tasks with precision signals reliability. Observers instinctively align with those whose behavior demonstrates predictability and competence. Weak. I hope they notice my effort. Strong. I embody unwavering standards, and they respond accordingly. Each repeated action reinforces perception of strength, creating trust without coercion. Mental toughness is the backbone of influence. Enduring discomfort without complaint or distraction proves resilience and inspires voluntary loyalty. Physical challenges, intellectual rigor, or emotional restraint all contribute to the projection of control. When others witness composure under pressure, they internalize a sense of security and follow willingly. A team member hesitates to execute a high-stakes assignment. Respond calmly, maintain focus on the objective, and complete your role flawlessly. This micro-example demonstrates the power of visible self-mastery, subtly guiding behavior without overt commands. Visible consistency extends beyond personal routines. It shapes interactions, communication, and decision-making. Predictable strength signals authority and earns respect as people naturally gravitate toward leaders whose responses are measured, deliberate, and reliable. Timing, tone, and follow-through all reinforce your presence as a stable and commanding force. By maintaining standards, honoring commitments, and demonstrating controlled energy, you cultivate loyalty organically. Forge habits that are non-negotiable. Guard your morning rituals, maintain rigorous attention to detail, and endure unavoidable discomfort with calm confidence. Observe the effects of your discipline on those around you, adjusting subtly to ensure alignment without appearing controlling. Each action is a deliberate strike in the long campaign of influence. Consistency, mental fortitude, and visible reliability act as psychological anchors, binding allies to your vision while reinforcing their own sense of security within your sphere. Mastery of self is mastery of allegiance. Through relentless discipline, visible strength, and unwavering routines, you command loyalty without force, shaping a culture where obedience arises naturally from respect. Discipline secures devotion, and devotion crowns the throne. Loyalty is not commanded. It is drawn like prey to the presence of the apex predator. Every principle you have mastered, the throne of your mind, the battlefield of your mornings, the silent precision of stillness, the removal of weak links, the projection of authority, the timing of decisive action, the careful feeding of ambition, the strategic foresight of the chessboard, and the discipline of ritual converges to make you untouchable. Invisibility is your first weapon. Appear when necessary, vanish when strategic, and allow your absence to create desire. Weak. I must be seen to be respected. Strong. I am respected through presence and absence alike. Desire without coercion is the purest form of influence. People move toward you instinctively, compelled by perception of control and stability. Your aura of invincibility is cultivated through consistent demonstration of competence and composure. When others witness your calm under pressure, your disciplined routines, and your strategic insight, they perceive strength as inevitable. This perception is magnetic. Allies internalize trust automatically, not because of fear or obligation, but because your mastery signals reliability across all scenarios. A colleague challenges a decision in a high-stakes situation. Respond with measured clarity, uphold your principles, and maintain composure. They adjust to your tempo rather than resist it, an example of influence exerted without overt control. Control without chains is the apex principle. Loyalty becomes instinctive when you satisfy needs subtly, reward alignment strategically, and enforce standards with quiet authority. Timing remains crucial. Act decisively when opportunity or risk demands it, yet exercise restraint to avoid unnecessary visibility. Every move, every gesture, every demonstration of consistency reinforces your untouchable position. By orchestrating influence in subtle, deliberate ways, you ensure allegiance flows naturally, like water toward the channel that contains it. Weak. I must demand obedience. Strong. Obedience arises from respect and recognition of competence. Your presence is magnetic because it is earned, not imposed. Your routines, disciplines, strategic thinking, and composure establish a gravitational pull that draws loyalty without manipulation. Influence becomes instinctive, a natural response to the authority you embody. Observe, calculate, and act only when necessary. Let your absence be felt as power, your presence as inevitability. Master these principles in unison, and you transcend ordinary authority. Become the force that commands allegiance effortlessly. Every action, every habit, every thought converges into a singular force, you. The throne of absolute allegiance is forged not in force, but in mastery. Your mind, disciplined and precise, operates as a war room where strategy is calculated and timing perfected. Weak. I hope others follow me. Strong. Loyalty flows naturally to competence and consistency. Your body is the armor and the blade, signaling resilience through posture, calm energy, and deliberate gestures. Presence becomes magnetic, drawing allies into alignment and subtly discouraging resistance. Observation replaces reaction. Your understanding of dynamics allows you to anticipate needs and counter threats without visible exertion of control. Mastery over the social ecosystem is your battlefield. Allies move in rhythm with your intentions, rivals adjust their strategies subconsciously, and observers instinctively recognize your authority. Every interaction is a calculated exchange of energy. Reward alignment, allow dissent without chaos, and maintain the invisible framework that channels behavior toward your vision. A colleague questions a strategic choice. Respond with measured composure, reaffirming principles without escalation. They adapt to your pace, respect your clarity, and align themselves without coercion. Weak. I must assert dominance overtly. Strong. I embody competence, and alignment follows naturally. The final form, transformation, crowns your mastery. You are no longer a participant in the game. You are the apex figure, a predator whose presence dictates the flow of loyalty. Invisibility and visibility operate as dual tools. Appear to inspire, withdraw to create anticipation, and let absence itself reinforce your value. Strategic concessions are made only to strengthen bonds or solidify credibility. Timing, restraint, and consistency reinforce an aura of invincibility. Allies, rivals, and observers internalize trust as instinct, responding to competence, reliability, and foresight. Discipline becomes contagious, influence instinctive, and respect automatic. Your throne is psychological, not physical. It is the culmination of disciplined mornings, silent observation, precise action, subtle symbolism, selective empowerment, foresight, and relentless personal standards. Loyalty is now a self-sustaining current. It does not require enforcement because it is rooted in perception of competence and inevitability. The apex predator of allegiance commands without chains, directs without force, and secures devotion effortlessly. Every move, every decision, every gesture resonates through your domain, shaping behavior with subtlety and certainty. Integrate mind, body, and strategy until influence flows as naturally as breath. Command, presence, and allegiance follows. Every day is a battlefield, and you are both the general and the strategist. Approach each interaction as a micro-battle for loyalty, not through force, but through presence, composure, and clarity. Weak. I hope they respect me. Strong. I embody consistency, and respect follows naturally. Discipline is your weapon. Consistency is your shield. Begin with your mind, cultivate focus, anticipate reactions, and respond deliberately. Your gestures, tone, and attention signal authority without a word. Treat silence as a strategy. Allow others to reveal intentions while you maintain calm control. Daily practice of authority is non-negotiable. Every conversation, every commitment, every visible action is a micro-rehearsal for leadership. Align thought, word, and deed. Let others experience the predictability of your reliability. A colleague challenges your decision. Respond with measured composure, acknowledging their perspective while reinforcing principles. This approach converts friction into alignment. Weak. I must dominate the discussion. Strong. I guide without coercion, and loyalty solidifies. Each small act compounds into a perception of authority that becomes self-sustaining. Silent command is not passive. It is deliberate. Your influence grows from habits that demonstrate competence, reliability, and resilience. Allow anticipation, consistency, and calm to do the work that overt power cannot. Position yourself as the apex figure of composure. Let others follow instinctively, because your presence signals safety, clarity, and inevitability. Reinforce your framework through visible consistency. Routines, punctuality, and attention to detail radiate control. Anticipate needs, reward alignment, and disengage strategically when necessary. Influence becomes instinctive, loyalty flows naturally, and your sovereignty is unquestioned. Forge the mindset that binds these practices together. Maintain vigilance over your own discipline and recognize that authority begins with self-mastery. Train your mind, refine your habits, and let composure dictate every move. Allies, rivals, and observers alike respond to the predictable strength of your character. You do not demand obedience, it emerges because you embody it. Every interaction is an opportunity to reinforce this presence, making your influence automatic and respected. Repeat this internally, command yourself, and allegiance follows.